Take it away.
Okay. First of all, thank you all for braving the weather and coming out in person. That's much appreciated. From the dawn of time, man has looked at the stars in the sky and said, I wonder what's up there. And it's often been proven that life imitates fiction. Long before man explored space, we dreamed of interstellar travel. Fiction is stranger than life. Fiction often presents realities that are more peculiar than life itself. Oh, and we'll also cover what's in the sky for March. Also, as you can see from the disclaimer, I take no responsibility for the content of this presentation.
The presentation is beamed down from outer space.
From
right?
beamed down from outer space.
I have sent for you, Dodgers, because we are facing a crisis. The world supply of aluminum Fosdex, the shaving cream atom, is alarmingly low. Now, we have reason to believe that the only remaining source is on Planet X, somewhere in this area.
And you want me to find Planet X? Is that it?
Can you do it, Dodgers?
Oh, indubitably, sir. Because there's no one knows his way around outer space like Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century.
Duck Dodgers, voiced by Mel Blanc, first appeared in a 1953 cartoon short, Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century, directed by Chuck Jones. It was a spoof on the popular Buck Rogers in the 25th century. That and the Flash Gordon serials of the 1930s gave man the first thoughts of exploring the stars. As we begin our journey through the night sky of March, reveal the conjunction of the moon and Venus. This was last Saturday night on the 1st. Let's again be clear that these are artist renditions that I've put up here. So if it's accuracy you're looking for, please submit photos to me. I will look at them, review them, and then go back to using artist renditions.
Is that Venus or Jupiter? I see moons.
Tonight, we rejoice with the joining of the moon and Pleiades. The moon in M45 will make a close approach, passing within a mere 39.1 arc minutes of each other. The moon will be 5 days old. Sorry, guys. Let me go back to from current position. We're good. Okay. The moon and Jupiter will make a close approach, passing within 5 degrees, 29 minutes of each other. The moon in the first quarter will be 6 days old. The pair will share the same right ascension, which is a conjunction, as you all know, becoming visible around 6:09 p.m. at 70 degrees above the horizon.
7-0?
7-0 at dusk. The moon will then be at a magnitude of minus 11.9. Jupiter will be at a magnitude of 2.3, minus 2.3. Actually, let me go to my notes and it's easier to read from there. Sorry, guys. There we go. It's easier to do it from here. The pair will share the same rate of ascension. They will be too widely separated to be viewed in a telescope or binoculars, but it'll make great viewing from the naked eye. We have dreamed of undersea travel since the 16th century and even fantasized about exploring its depth in the late 1800s. Today, U.S. Virginia-class nuclear submarines can remain at sea for an unlimited period of time, only barred by the constraints of crew changes and so forth. They can remain submerged for up to 3 months and dive to depths of 800 to 1,000 feet. Mercury will reach half phase in its February-March 2025 evening apparition, as it will be shining brightly at a magnitude of minus 0.5. From our area, Mercury will be well placed, but tricky to observe, reaching only about 8.41 degrees above the western horizon just after sunset. As seen from our area, Mercury will reach its highest point in the sky a little after sunset at just under 16 degrees. In its evening apparition, it will be shining brightly at a magnitude of minus 0.4. The Moon and Mars will share the same right ascension, with the Moon passing 1 degree 40 minutes to the north of Mars. The Moon will be 9 days old. From our area, the pair will be visible in the evening sky, becoming accessible at around 6:20 p.m. at 63 degrees above the southeastern horizon. At dusk, as dusk fades to darkness, it will then reach its maximum, and I got to go over to here. Hang on a second. There we go. Will then reach its maximum highest point in the sky at 8:06 p.m. at 74 degrees above the southern horizon. It will continue to be observable till about 3:43 a.m. when it will sink below 9 degrees in the northwestern horizon. In 1865, Jules Verne's route from the Earth to the Moon, while a very tongue-in-cheek novel, man was beginning to think about exploring the Moon's surface. How interesting it is that the story was written only century before the actual first small steps. Heralding the coming of May, the First Nations people viewed March as a thawing of the ground and the coming of the worms. Thus, many tribes called it the worm moon. Also, some tribes called the full moon of March the crow moon, because as winter ended, they believed that the crow was cawing in anticipation of the coming of warmer weather. The moon will pass in front of Speca, Alpha Virginis, creating a lunar occultation visible from Africa, Yemen, and Western Australia. Although the occultation will only be visible across parts of the world, that is because the moon is so close to the Earth and varies by about 2 degrees. So it's not visible from every area. A close conjunction between the pair will be more widely visible. The occultation will not be visible from New York. I give the destinations Yemen and so forth in case you guys are traveling and you want to figure out where you'll be. All right, so you'll recognize that it's close to Spica, but it's really not going to occult from our area. March is the month of the equinox, the first day of spring in the northern hemisphere and the first day of autumn in the southern hemisphere. On this day, everywhere on the earth, the sun will be exactly 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night as the sun journeys through its through the constellations and is carried across the celestial equator. The word equinox, let me push down here a little bit. The word equinox comes from the Greek words equus, which is Latin, sorry, for equal, and nox for night. On this day, the moon will pass in front of Antares, Alpha Scorpii, creating a lunar occultation visible from countries and territories including Australia, Antarctica, New Zealand, and Tunisia.
Matt,
Yes.
if some members who might not know what occultation is.
Oh, okay. An occultation is when, why don't you, it's hard enough being up here. Go ahead, take it. You take it.
Okay.
Oh, wait, let me give you the microphone.
For the benefit of people who might not be familiar with the term occultation, it's when the moon or some other object moves in front of another object in the sky and blocks it. It's sort of like an eclipse. An eclipse, the moon blocks the sun for us, which is very rare, but in occultation, the moon is passing in front of stars, minor stars, almost every night. So these, like, but moving in front of a planet or a bright star is more rare.
You'd also say when one celestial body covers another. And that could be anything, you know, even a moon of Jupiter, for example.
A few months ago, many of us were watching a great one with the moon and Mars. And there was a lot of fantastic photos people took right at the moment leading up to it and ending.
Unfortunately, the occultation will not be visible from the New York area. Oh, side note on that photograph. I took that from Denali National Park in Alaska. It's a shot of fireweed and the mountains behind it. So
Wow.
that's my shot.
Nice going.
Thank you.
Could you go back to that?
Yes,
Okay, more
I
attention to it.
sure could. There we go.
Stunning. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Almost a pink moon.
Yeah. The moon will pass its last quarter phase, rising in the middle of the night and appearing prominent in the pre-dawn sky. From New York City, it will be visible from soon after it rises at 2:51 a.m. until just before it sets at 11:14 a.m. Saturn's rings will appear on edge as viewed from the Earth. This event will happen at 12:04 p.m. and would be very difficult to capture without a sun filter for your telescope or binoculars. Finally, on March 29th, we have a partial solar eclipse. In our area, the moon will only cover the sun by about 8%, sorry. Beginning at 4:50 a.m., it will reach its maximum at 6:47 ending at 8:43 a.m. So we're only getting an 8% partial eclipse. Finally, we can see that fiction is truly stranger than life. Man is on the brink of new discoveries, wondrous things waiting to be developed and explored. I would love to see mammoths once again roaming the Siberian steppes. But, where will science and fiction take us next? The mind of man can conceive, and what the mind of man can conceive, the hand of man can create. But with that comes a caveat. From Jurassic Park, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether they could, they never stopped to think whether they should. That was Dr. Ian Malcolm, Jurassic Park, 1993.
Know what they just said today? They had the hair from the woolly mammoth, and their company recreated a woolly mouse.
A woolly mouse. Wow.
Thinking is they're going to be able to create, now they're able to do that, they can bring back the woolly mammoth. And you brought Jurassic Park.
That would be fantastic. But again, that's it had incisors, big incisors.
But they're hoping they can bring back the woolly mammoth.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. But again, since life is stranger than fiction, we have to take a broad eye on what we do in the future and what we create, so that we maintain the knowledge of what we're doing as we're doing it, instead of just. I think another line from the same movie was, "Your scientist climbed on the shoulders of those who had come before, not really completely understanding what they were doing." I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, please see the little man who wasn't there in the back.